Right now, I'm thinking, okay, I got to keep improving on my lead. Benji, Andalus, right there behind me. That is a scary position to be in because we know them being very consistent, being amazing at coming back and playing from behind. They're players that can play from behind and get up into that top spot if they need to when it's on the line.
And it is on the line for Milan right now. He's in Misty Meadows with only 3 other players. I think definitely a sustainable thing for Milan. And this is somebody who is definitely playing very, very well. 4 elims in the first game and 3 in the second, plus the win that we just saw him get over Snappy. We'll put him in 3rd place right now with 64 points. And I think this is definitely a good start for him at Misty Meadows. Yes, there might be 3 people dropping here, but it looks like he's got the majority of the loot on the backside, not having to split with either of those.
Not having to split like Vibes is right now. Shots are going to come through. A nice tag there onto the player above him. Does get time to pop these shields as well. Only 2 builds remaining. RPG coming through. That's going to drop him down. Not going to connect. Uses his last build to try to put the pressure on. Not letting this player heal. He's going to go from underneath. The stair going to protect the other player inside the box. Shots coming through. He's getting a lot of HP. But Truly's going to go down. Vibes tracks him perfectly and picks up his first elimination of this game.
And that's Trulex, but Flick is still right here. Vibes nearby, and yes, it's a quick finish. You got to be so careful with these early game fights. Flick is going to take that, and I think that's going to put him in a good position. A lot of loot here, actually. The loadout very, very strong for Flick. One of the players who got invited, but such a strong competitive player overall. One of the most clutch I think I've seen in the EU region. And for now, though, only 8 points, but his setup is good to put him in a position to catch back up, because again, it's not that far. A good game will put you around 50 points. And with the first place right now being only 73, everybody's still in striking distance.
They are indeed. Alpha only on 1 point, though, is going to sneak up on this player. Kira trying to make some plays happen, but Alpha getting a lot of damage off with that tactical shotgun. The continued pressure there for him. Nice stare through the edited window there. Alpha trying to keep the pressure up. The wall not going to be enough to stop him. The floor not going to be enough to stop him. He's going to take down Kira. I also want to point out Mongrel in the elimination feed picking up an elim.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure. He's fighting over at Sweaty Sands, but Alpha still needs to find Slicks. We've seen this fight unfold a number of times overall, at least for Alpha, and this actually dates back way into squads for Alpha. Seems like so far so good for him, but it looks like only really elimination points, so it's where he goes after this. For him, Milan getting into a fight on the side. This is a really good engagement for him because, again, he got all that loot in Misty Meadows, and this player coming off of what is a scavenger route, what is lower in terms of loot potential. He's definitely going to be putting up here, and Milan should have the advantage.
He should. He does have time to pop the shield as the engagement came through. He did lose some of that HP. The other player effectively lower, though. Forward trying to be taken there. Milan is going to have time to pop the shield. Not going to actually get off the edit. Going to go through. That's not his wall anymore. Nice edit out to the side and to put those layers in between. Going to be very, very good. But the continued pressure, Milan down to 41 HP. He's trying to play around this big show when he really needs to play around shooting the other player, getting the elimination, putting the pressure back. Finally doing so, but I don't think Milan has got this. He's going to have to hit a big couple tack shots here to put the pressure back. This continued SMG pressure here from his opponent is looking really good for them. Milan, though, going around the top shade, trying to hide out underneath the builds, trying to keep the pressure there. Milan, I think, has found the time with that brick build to get the shield off, and now effectively they've reset the fight here. They're back on the same amount of HP. Milan still, though, I think has got the advantage.
I'm wondering, actually looking at Milan's loadout, yes, he had that shield potion, actual pop. He's going to drop down and push a little bit more pressure, but I wonder if he left Misty a little too early. You know, the game sound back, and he's still hunting for his opponent down below, but it looks like running out of materials on that side. He's going to get the high ground, though, just a couple of builds to take that, but nice cone from Milan, and yes, he finishes it off, and yes, he survives another day. He survives to potentially have another really strong game.
And he hit the big tags he needed. He hit a 50-plus and then an 80-plus tag, and that's what he needed. He could not afford to hit those 20, 30s that we know the tag is capable of hitting if your aim is not on point. Milan, though, on point today. He is showing up, and this might be some people's dark horses here.
It definitely could, but I'm worried right now for Milan. Scully is so near him. He has no shield. He has no heals at all. He definitely wants to maybe duck back into Misty Meadows before this first zone closes. And if I'm Scully, this is the time to set up the beams. And there, I think he was just ready to do it. We'll have to see how that unfolds. CRR playing so aggressively still here, though, at risky reels. He's on the backs of Dan, close on his heels.
And in trying to run away, but CR not a player that you can run away from. He's going to keep the pressure up, not going to connect there, using that SMG to try to get the spray off. This player kind of trapped in this awkward scenario. They can't really make things work for them. Shots going through. CR actually losing a lot more HP than he's dealing there. Shots going through, and he does end up getting the spray and taking down Dan. Picks up his second elimination of the game.
We did see him play very aggressively in games 1 and 2. That leaves him on 29 points so far. It shouldn't be too bad trading a little bit of damage there in that fight because of the surplus of minis he has. He's going to have plenty of time to also refarm any materials he has out of risky reels. One of the better spots for metal. And you can definitely max out on wood there. But the brick a little lacking. It's okay. Plenty of brick nearby. Another fight all over the map. Definitely EU playing a little bit more aggressively in this game, just to kind of feel things out. A lot of people maybe switching up their strategies. Blackie onto the player right in front of him. A full metal box, though. He's actually backed all the way up, and this is going to be hard for Blackie to follow up with.
It is indeed, but he's keeping that pressure up. He's continuing to make that player go out of the full metal, now into break. This is going to be even easier for him as Walls and Piece Control trying to go over to Blackie. He is going to get both of those pieces, and Mini going to go down. A very good play there from Blackie to get that elimination.
Solid play out of Blackie, somebody who barely squeaked their way into the reboot round, now surviving in game 3. A storm fight unfolding on top of the mountains down south. It's Chapix on the receiving side of this. He's got a flopper, though. He drops him in. Nice stare to cover him up and make sure that he doesn't trade any damage, and then also gets the wall too, but a misplay because the wall, as he edits, makes it so easy to jump through. It doesn't matter, though, because Diablo gets put down. Chapix remains cool, keeps his composure, and finishes things off with that tac shotgun.
And that is the confidence you see in these pro players that you would expect to see unwavered there by his HP. Did not even think about going for the flopper. Thought, you know what? Shoot me. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to hit for more damage. And he does come out on top. As we pan over to Salty Springs, we've got Tiago hiding out in this red brick house, looking to make something happen. Maybe set up an ambush play. Maybe just waiting for Zone. You see Zone now revealing itself. He is going to be in it. People are nearby. His loadout looking good. He's in a good spot. Again, 25 points in that first game is really good there for him. Really in contention as well.
Starting to make his rotate out of Salty Springs. He was sitting up, set up, just like you said, Clay, hoping to find somebody getting some extra loot, but did not end up actually happening. Tiago now is going to make his way towards center zone. Try to get a little bit of a positional advantage on the rest of the lobby, but Vadil in front of him is going to stop that for now. I'd love to see where some of the other players in this game, obviously it's the same every time, but some of the big players at the top of the leaderboard, players like what happened to Milan out of Misty Meadows. Where's Benji? Mr. Savage? So many big names playing these grand finals today. Tiago's going to follow this up, though, and he actually knew that this was coming. Fadil tried to play what Tiago was trying to do, set up the trap in the shack just there. And because of that, because Tiago did not see Vadil continue to build on the outside of that, he's expecting that. He's expecting a free elim, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Chapix, though, we saw win that fight earlier on, just barely makes his way out of that zone on the Misty Meadows Lake.
Barely indeed. Looks like he does have a med kit that he is popping and did end up getting off there. Actually coming out with a lot better loot than I would expect for someone that spent that much time in the zone. He's looking at a good rotation here as well, assuming more people have already rotated out. He's on the back half. The zone is starting to move in 20 seconds as well. Chapix is in a really good spot. He used all his soft mats as well. This is a really good rotation, a really easy rotation here for him. He just has to be careful that he doesn't fall into these storm fights yet again.
That's definitely going to be the difficulty. Not exactly sure where that second zone is, but what I'm seeing for Chapix down on the bottom right of the map is a free path. Nobody on this mountain. And sometimes, Clay, this mountain can be so scary when it comes to just that. He pulls another medkit, though, and he can actually choose to spend some time in the zone if he does need to find some other position, or if there's somebody gatekeeping him in front of this, because As it closes, this should be fine. It will be a 2-tick once this closes, but for now it's only a 1.
And you mentioned it. This mount is actually really scary because of the steep incline that you have to go. There's a lot of safety behind players that can just hop off into the gorge and get into that waterfall and go towards zone. So got a good rotation. You can see that there's nobody really in the vicinity that he has to worry about. There are some builds around that he might need to be concerned about, but overall, Chapek's in a good spot, can continue to keep up his rotation. We see 68 players left, so that Storm Surge is not going to happen in this zone. Maybe in fourth and half in, half out zone, we will see Storm Surge start to pop up, which normally would be a concern for someone like Chapek, but the early elimination is really going to put him up there.
And you talk about the Storm Surge, you talk about how many players are up. I think what we're going to see is definitely Surge in 5th zone, but we are definitely seeing players play a little bit more aggressive here in Game 3. The halfway mark, essentially, for today. We've got 6 more games tomorrow that will still be the same exact format, so these guys are going to be leading up and continue to accrue points in the same thing. Anas on the side of zone, he's a little bit of trouble, might get himself in a storm fight. There's 3 players here, he needs to get through this cornfield ASAP, otherwise this could get crazy. And we do get that peak of the 2nd zone too. So close there, Anas, though, the sound from his AR as he switched off of the tack to get that shot off tipped his location off, and he's not really going to be able to find much except maybe 1 or 2 shield tags.
And we all know you got to be careful on this corn. It's very easy. Pika's advantage is very much there. If you're in that corn, you're going to have the advantage. Anas, like Bala said, the AR swap gave him away, but it didn't stop him from getting the elimination down Norwood, continuing to pressure down onto another player as well. He wants to get these eliminations. He wants this one as well. He really wants that loot. Shots coming on through. Anas going to get a nice beam, and that's his key to go in. Benji going to be the player that he is fighting. Benji in a very bad situation. If Anas keeps this up, Benji going to go down, but Benji with a very smart rotate to keep putting those layers is going to give him time to heal, but Anas not going to fall for it. The pressure going to continue there.
And something happened there. It's Anas with the floppers. He has a medkit too, so plenty of time to take this. As I was talking about way back with Chapek's in his medkits, Anas now onto Benji. Benji actually tried to back up into zone, tried to give himself space for Anas to leave, and finally he's doing just that. But man, this is going to be difficult for Benji to make it out, but he thrives in situations like this. He thrives when he has low materials, when he doesn't have heals, when he's low HP. Right now, Benji, sitting in that 7th spot, has to continue to play with the consistency, because that's what he's known for. That's what he did to make it to where he is right now over these 2 days. Should be able to make it out of zone, possibly find a campfire, but looking at this congestion, it's going to be rough, because positionally he's going to have to work even more after this.
Rough indeed. We'll see if he's going to be able to make it out. But speaking of rough, Blackie here is in a very rough situation. 9 builds remaining, no shields, no heals. Does have that legendary pump and does have that AR so he can hop into someone's box. But he's really going to have to make a play here in the next zone. Otherwise, he's not going to make it much longer than 3rd. And he's going for the play onto Queasy.
And Queasy was the Game 1 winner, so Blackie now trying to make a play to make sure that he gets a chance back into this. Queasy was not happy with what happened to him. Soft spawn, and it's going to be a big jump into the box. You talked about the legendary pump, and that's going to be the key to unlock Queasy's door. And he lives to see another day. 64 builds. Blackie now feeling good, and he's not that far away from zone, so shambles are not rough or not. He makes it in. Who doesn't make it in is Anas, who was fighting Benji for so long on the side of Frenzy Farms. He's down and out. Curious if Benji's still alive, because that was definitely, like we said, rough.
Wasn't Blackie getting aggressive here in his box? He doesn't need to be that aggressive onto Kiriachi, but we know that Kiriachi wants to be aggressive onto him. That low HP could be the catalyst that Kiriachi wants to push this fight. He is very good in these box fights. When he is the aggressor, when he is on that front foot, when he is getting into your box, Kiriachi is one of the best at getting these eliminations in these close quarters.
But Wolfies is right there too, and that's somebody who will pounce on the opportunity if you don't have a full metal box. And I don't think the opportunity is actually going to present itself, as Kiriachi and Blackie are in full metal box, full brick boxes, which are very well built. Tiago also looking down below to try to knock somebody down. I think that's where Wolfies is actually bringing his attention on, because it's a metal that's not fully built. Possible heavy snipe. That fight up top still happening, by the way. Chapix just took out Milan. So Milan had no luck off of that rotation. A nice big pump from Blackie onto Kiriachi. And there Wolfie's finally open. That's instantly the key for Blackie to turn those stairs on and make sure that he doesn't get taken out. And he is! Wolfie's finds the gap, finds the moments, uses the heavy sniper to open things up and find with the AR another elimination. Wolfie's now with 70 points, possibly going to be getting close to overtaking where Snappy was, because Snappy at 73 before this game started.
And you said he was going to pounce it. He was going to move, and he did. He capitalized on that elimination. The question is, where is Snappy? Where is... We saw Queasy, we saw Milan go down very, very, very early in this game, so points going to be around the same. Wolfies can take and run with this. He can take this lead if he wants to.
And I saw Andalex there too, the player in 8th before this game. Another pickup from Chapix. Sprang him down. That's Vortex. 3 eliminations now from Chapix, where we saw him at the start of this in that storm fight, up all the way down south on the Misty Mountains. Now coming out of that zone, coming all the way from pretty much a lost situation for a lot of players in some senses, and he still holds on to that hope. And his situation is great, Clay. He still has plenty of materials to work with and a lot of heals too. Plus, positionally, now in 4th zone. And something to note, Benji back up HP-wise. Mr. Savage, we're going to tune in for the first time because he hasn't actually made it past 70 players alive so far, sitting only on 7 points. What can he do in this game here, though, is the key.
I think the key for him is he does have that sniper in his inventory. Savage with the sniper is unmatched to anybody. He can hit shots that no one else is looking for, and you see him with it out. He's looking for the snipe shot. May come through here for him, but no, not going to find the angle. But he's holding it. Shot's going to go through, not going to connect. The Savage actively looking to get that sniper shot, to get that catalyst that he needs to push him into that momentum, into that rhythm that we know Savage can hit.
And you just have the launch pad if he wants to use it. But nobody going so far. It's the game of chicken and the egg, who goes first. Mr. Savage is not opting to do that. It is a max distance pull for him, but based on how spread out the zone is, look how the circle has players all around it on all sides. He's going to have to wait for other players to get in the air. Benji is down and out, so he's not going to proceed in this game any further, even though it looked like he had recovered. Mr. Savage, though, on the backside has to defend a little bit. A nice edit. Oh, my goodness. A mistake here from Kura. Not realizing, actually, the threat and potential from the other side, possibly Storm Surge, was influencing them in that game. Possibly he had to make a crazy play onto Mr. Savage, and unfortunately it doesn't work out.
It doesn't work out indeed. We'll see what he's able to do, though, with this launchpad coming through.
And we are actually, unfortunately, going to have to hop out of this game. We're not going to be able to see the end. We'll see what Mr. Savage can do right now. I don't think we're even going to see this, but we do have the results from it. Thankfully, it was CRR who came out on